Botswana sprinter Letsile Tebogo is the star of African athletics this year after rewriting the history books. The 21-year-old World Athlete of the Year struck gold at Paris 2024 to become Botswana's first ever Olympic champion. His epic men's 200 meters victory was also the first ever for an African sprinter at the Summer Games. CGTN's Muturi Kaibere gets our program underway with a recap of a rip-roaring year for African athletics.
Against the roaring backdrop of the Stade de France, one man went quietly about his business on Thursday, August 8 this year. For Letsile Tebogo, who only a year earlier had become Africa's first World 100 meters medalist in athletics, the Paris 2024 men's 200-meter Olympic final seemed like a moment of quiet introspection, and in 19.46 seconds, the 21-year-old motored to history. Tebogo became the first African to win the Olympic men's 200-meter title and earned Botswana their first ever Olympic gold medal.
Letsile Tebogo.
That epic race and other rip-roaring performances in the 200 meters saw the man nicknamed Lastborn crowned the World Athlete of the Year in Monaco early in December.
It was a great year. That's how I can summarize it. And I'm grateful for the team that was around me. Thanks to my coach and my management.
The fans chose both of you.
6 African athletes, including Tebogo, won Olympic gold medals on the track at the Paris 2024 Summer Games. Kenya's Beatrice Chebet scooped a historic double in the women's 5,000 and 10,000 meters. Compatriots Faith Kipyegon and Emmanuel Wanyonyi, Uganda's Joshua Cheptegei, and Ethiopian Tamirat Tola also scooped gold.
Tamirat Tola.
Besides Tebogo, Tamirat was also honored at the 2024 World Athletics Gala as the winner in the men's out-of-stadium category. Their performances contributed in making athletics superior to other sports at the Paris 2024 Olympics, according to World Athletics President Seb Coe.
Athletics has emerged at the end of this year, yet again, untouchable. We've cemented ourselves as the heartbeat of the Olympic movement. But to each and every one of you, a very big heartfelt thanks for taking the time and trouble and breaking training to be with us this evening. Thank you so much.
Away from the Paris 2024 Summer Olympics, 6 African athletes, all Kenyans, set world records this year. Muturi Kaibere, CGTN.
We can now cross over to Uganda, where we're now joined by sports journalist Darren Keyune, live from Kampala. Darren, great to have you back on our program. And what a year it's been for that young Botswanan runner, Letsile Tebogo. What more do you think that guy can achieve?
Well, I think he had arguably his best year at a very, very tender age. An athlete that I first watched at the World Under-20 Athletics Championships, which were held in Nairobi during the COVID-19 pandemic time. And his style, especially at the start, after the gun, is just something that everybody were watching with at the Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi 3 years ago. Just came out to say that this boy was just going to be bad news, as they normally say. And true to it, 3 years down the road at the Paris Olympics, eventually he medaled for Botswana, the first athlete ever from the country to win a gold medal. And you can see how much the country received him with the reception that he got, a presidential reward, 2 houses and company, to be the likes of Kenny Bednarek, Noah Lyles and Arion Knighton over the 200-meter final at the Paris Olympics. I thought that capped it for his career, and to finish in 19.46 seconds and to wrap up his season in style, many do think maybe over the years to come, when he's matured a little bit enough, he could be in pole position to break Usain Bolt's world record that stands at 19.19 seconds.
That's definitely no easy task there. Let's turn to your home nation, Uganda now, Darren. Big shoes to fill there. Who do you think will replace the great Joshua Cheptegei on the track as he now eyes his transition to the roads?
Well, it's been a roller coaster of emotions for the athletic fanatics here, especially in the aftermath of what you've just said. Many still do not believe that Joshua Cheptegei has crossed to marathon. A race that for an elite runner requires just 2 major races across the year, which is contrary to Cheptegei, where he, ideally in a year like this one would have competed at the World Cross Country and then at a major world championship. beat the Olympics or the World Championships. But he's now reduced to 2 marathons in a year. And looking around, I must say, Jacob Kiplim has got the mantle to take over. He's lived in the shadows of Joshua Cheptegei for the last 5 years, I must say, since the World Cross Country 2019 edition in Aarhus in Denmark. And in that event, he went on to win the silver medal behind Joshua Cheptegei in the senior men's 10-kilometer event. And since then, the two have been polled together over the 10,000-meter final at several championships. Kiplim, of course, missed last year in Budapest in Hungary, but this year he was unfortunate in the 10,000-meter final. Coming into the final bend, he was among the top 4, but somehow he withered to finish a distant 8th. But I must tell you that he's had an incredible career on road. If he can replicate what he's done over the half marathon, where he recently held the world record, or the cross country, where he currently holds the world title, defended it this year, won it last year in Bathurst in Australia, you feel if he takes that onto the track, he can ably replace the void that Joshua Cheptegei has left on track.
Right, and Darren, it has been a great year for African athletes, both in the French capital and beyond. Many records did come tumbling. Which world record, if I was to put you on the spot here, ran by an African this year impressed you the most, and why?
Well, I think looking at the world records for the African athletes, and there were quite not many. I think the women's marathon, Perez Jepchirchir doing, I think, 2 hours, 16 minutes. But I think the one that stood out for me came a little earlier in the season during the Wonder Diamond League, the leg in Eugene at the Prefontaine Classic in Oregon in the USA, where the athlete that is Beatrice Chebet, who I must say had an incredible Olympics for Kenya, went on to break that record for the women's 10,000 meters, to break the 29-minute mark, the first woman ever to do it. And eventually she swept aside Letsile Tebogo's former previous mark of the 25-lap distance that was set in June 2021 to run 28 minutes and 54 seconds and 14 seconds, 54.14 seconds. I thought that was a really standout bit for me. And eventually she carried on with that form to the Paris Olympics, becoming the only individual athlete in athletics to win 2 gold medals at the event. And I actually think if she does continue with this form, she could dominate everything and perhaps fill the voids that have been left by many Kenyan runners that have since crossed the marathon.